2-minute theology question number 14. The question was asked, why do Catholic Christians have crucifixes and most other Christians simply have crosses? Well, it goes back to history of the Protestant Reformation. There was a movement to distinguish the non-Catholic churches from the Catholic churches, and one of the ways was kind of getting rid of a lot of the traditional symbols and reminders that were associated with the Catholic faith. So crucifixes, statues, paintings, so on, a much more simplified adornment of the churches. But I think one of the things that we need to look at is when we see a crucifix, what is, especially for Catholics, what is the first thing that we think of? We think that we are loved by this man who freely offered his life to rescue our souls. And that is why we have Christ on the cross. It's not that we believe that he's dead. We worship the risen Lord Jesus, but it is a perpetual reminder for us. It's a constant reminder of God's love for every single person. And I think there's an important difference in belief too about suffering between what we believe as Catholics and those that just simply have crosses. Is I think a lot of times we hear that Jesus suffered so you don't have to. Well, in one sense that's true. If we follow him into heaven, there will be no suffering. But Jesus tells us, you cannot be my disciple unless you take up your cross daily and follow after me. And we know this to be true because we live in a broken and fallen world where we still have suffering. We have pain, we have broken relationships, we get sick. And the cross is, with Jesus on it, the crucifix is our reminder that Jesus knows and has been through our suffering. So we can identify with Jesus on the cross while at the same time knowing that it's not the end of the story, right? Jesus' victory is also our victory if we take up our cross and follow him. And this is what the great apostle St. Paul preached. I preach Christ crucified, right? He preached the Paschal Lamb who was sacrificed, because if we take Jesus off of the cross, we just simply have a symbol of Roman execution. And it takes away the sacrificial offering of Jesus' own life. So we worship him as the risen and glorified Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. But Jesus tells us, when I am lifted up, I will draw all men to myself. So on Friday, we remember, especially during Lent, as we pray maybe the Stations of the Cross, just take a few minutes at the crucified Jesus and thank him for offering his life for us to rescue us, to invite us into his relationship with him, to follow him into heaven. God bless you.